That's better.
Except for your reverberating. You probably should take your phone off.
Who, me?
Yeah, because there's an echo.
Ah. That's pretty good.
Now we see three of you. Oh, you're multiplying.
See, one of me wasn't enough. Is that better?
That's better.
No, it's still echoing. Mr. Barr, you've joined on, it looks like 4 devices. I think it probably would be best if we kept it to 1. So
well, you see,
like to keep on, but
it didn't seem like it was working, so I kept trying devices.
Oh, you're so funny.
I should have my own TV show.
You can interview yourself.
I don't know how to turn this doggone thing off. There, that's one.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, they're still here. I'm gonna I might just make a waiting room and move some of them to a waiting room. What do you think about that?
Or anything to try to minimize this echo, and we could even try muting.
No, I'm thinking I'm getting rid of them.
You have been added to the waiting room.
Yeah, I moved all of the extra ones to the waiting room.
How's that?
I didn't hear an echo that time.
Yeah, that was.
Okay. Harriet, are you ready for me to call a case? Okay. Now calling proceeding number 24A-0166CP. This is the matter of the application of Good Mountain Adventures, LLC, for a certificate of public convenience and necessity to operate as a common carrier by motor vehicle for hire. We were scheduled for a pre-hearing conference by decision number R24-0365-I, which was issued on May 30th, 2024. It is June 14th, 2024 at approximately 11 a.m. I am Melody Mirbaba, the administrative law judge assigned to this case. I just want to let everybody know that consistent with commission practice, we are live webcasting the video and audio of this hearing. We are also recording this hearing, and we have a court reporter taking down everything being said. Just to make sure we get a clear record, I'm going to ask everybody to keep your microphones muted until it is your turn to speak. Before we get started on entries of appearance, I just want to tell everybody that if I mispronounce your name or use an incorrect gender pronoun, I don't mean any offense. Please just correct me and I'll endeavor to do better. So with that, let's get started by finding out who we have here present with us today. I want to start with the applicant in this case, Good Mountain Adventures, LLC, who I will refer to as Good Mountain. Okay, well, I think we ought to give Good Mountain a little bit of time, just a few extra minutes to appear, because as of right now, it's a little bit after 11, and our applicant has not joined us. I know that the Zoom information was sent out via email about a week ago. I'm going to see if I can look at that email and see the email address that was used for Good Mountain. So it looks like the email address dylanbgood@gmail.com was used, and it was sent on June 7th. And that's an email address that's listed on the application in this case as well. Okay, so let's wait. It's 11:05 right now. I want to wait at least until 11:15. As far as I'm concerned, there's just no reason to establish a procedural schedule unless we've got the applicant present with us. So we'll go ahead and hold for about 10 minutes, and then I'll decide what to do at that point if nobody has appeared on behalf of Good Mountain. So everybody just who is with us, I'll just note we do have several interveners who are here. I haven't taken entries of appearance. I suppose it couldn't hurt to go ahead and do that, so we've got a clearer record on who has appeared with us, and then we'll make sure that we wait at least until about 11:15. So let me see, I've got kind of a pretty long list of interveners in this case. Let me see, do we have anybody here from Colorado Jeep and Off-Road Tours, Inc.? All right, I'm going to note we don't have anybody appearing on behalf of Colorado Jeep and Off-Road Tours, Inc. Who do we have on behalf of 519 LLC doing business as Fresh Tracks? Okay, we don't have anybody for Fresh Tracks. Do we have anybody here for CK IMY LLC doing business as iLimo, who I'll call iLimo?
Your Honor, my name is Roman. I'm from Explorer Tours, but actually the iLimo Yasin company, he's been texting me. He's trying to get into this meeting right now. He's having some difficulties, like technical difficulties to get in. So he will be here like any minute. He's trying to be connected right now.
Okay, thank you. And go ahead and state your name one more time and who you're here for.
Yes, my name is Roman Lysenko. I can spell last name Lysenko, representing Explorer Tours. It's Mountain Star Transportation, DBA Explorer Tours.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for letting me know about the other intervener who is trying to get in. All right, is there anybody here on behalf of ULLR Tours doing business as Colorado Sightseer? I'll note nobody has appeared for ULLR Tours. For Aspire Tours LLC, who I'll refer to as Aspire. You're muted.
I'm sorry about that. Yes, Aspire Tours, Catherine Troxler, KatHrin, last name Troxler, Troxler.
Okay, thank you. Do we have anybody here on behalf of Tava Cab LLC, who I'll refer to as Tava Cab? Do we have anybody here? So I'll make a note for the record that nobody has appeared on behalf of Tava Cab. Do we have anybody here on behalf of Pikes Peak Cab LLC doing business as Pikes Peak Transport?
Yes, Marcos Grego, MARCOSGRIEGO, here representing Pikes Peak Cab.
Can you spell your last name again for me? I'm sorry, I wasn't fast enough.
GRIEGO.
And it's pronounced Grego?
Yes.
Do we have anybody here on behalf of Denver's Airport Transportation LLC? I'll make a note. Nobody has appeared on behalf of Denver's Airport Transportation LLC. And then although I have denied this intervention, I certainly don't have a problem with this intervener participating here today because there has been a motion to reconsider filed. So on behalf of NDW Enterprises LLC, doing business as Ski Town Transportation.
Yes, Your Honor. If it please, Richard Barra, B as in boy, ARA, registration number 78867828 Vance Drive, Arvada, Colorado, appearing here on behalf of NDW Enterprises, DBA Ski Town Transportation, Steamboat Springs, Colorado.
Okay. All right. Looks like we've had a couple of people join us. We have somebody now on behalf of Good Mountain Adventures LLC, or referred to as Good Mountain. You're going to need to unmute yourself to speak.
Hi, I'm sorry. I just gotta fix my audio really quick. Hi, this is Dylan on behalf of Good Mountain Adventures. Sorry for the late start. The email was in spam.
Okay, and do we have somebody now who's able to join on behalf of CKIMY LLC, doing business as iLimo, who I'll refer to as iLimo? You're going to need to unmute yourself. So I know that I approved Yassine Chanain to represent iLimo. Yeah, and I see somebody here on the screen who's typed their first name in as Yassine, and he was having some difficulty unmuting. So go ahead and tell us who you are and who you're here for. And we still can't hear you. Cannot hear you. You might want to check your audio settings. There is on the bottom of this left, on the corner left, you'll see what looks like a microphone, and it's got a little arrow next to it. Click on that arrow and see if you've selected the correct audio. You can also test out your audio that way as well. It'll have you select a microphone. Okay, while you're working on getting your microphone up and running, I'll just say looks like we've got another person who just joined us. So let me just find out who they're on behalf of. Do we have somebody here on behalf of Denver's Airport Transportation LLC, who I'll call Denver's Airport? So I'll just note that I do see somebody on our screen who's identified as the name Jamal Saeed, and I think he's having some difficulty connecting to audio. It says he's connecting to audio, so we'll give him a moment to get his audio up and running so he can enter his appearance. going back to iLimo, CKIMY LLC, doing business as iLimo. Can you go ahead and try again? Are you able to get your audio sorted so we can hear you? I don't know if Mr. Shanane has frozen. He looks perfectly still on the screen, so he might have frozen. We'll give him a moment. He might need to rejoin. Okay, now let me go back to Jamal Said. Are you able to unmute yourself and tell us, enter your appearance so we know you're here and we've got you on the record? Do we have somebody for Denver's Airport Transportation LLC? Okay, I see your lips moving, but I don't hear a word you're saying. I'll be honest with all of you. I've never seen this many difficulties with muting and unmuting and hearing people in a hearing before, and I've done hundreds. So this is just an odd day that we're having here with technical issues. We'll just try to be patient and work through this. Sometimes if you need to, you can turn off, if you're on a computer or a tablet, you can mute it and then call in. And we could hear your audio via telephone. That email that was sent out should have had the telephone number to dial in through. Okay, so if I think we've got two people that just sort of, we had issues with audio who've attempted to rejoin. If either of you have gotten your audio worked out, go ahead and speak up so we can see if we can hear you now.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes. Okay, please spell your name and tell us who you're here for.
Yeah, my name is Yassine Shanane. I'm here representing Sikimi LLC, DBA iLimo.
Great. Glad to have you. Now let's see if Jamal Said has managed, and I don't even know if I'm pronouncing your name correct, and I'm sorry if I'm not. Have you managed to get your audio sorted? Try to speak up for us. You might be frozen.
Yeah, I had to connect to an iPhone versus the computer. I was having a little bit of trouble with that.
Huh. Okay. Well, let's see. I don't know if he has frozen up, if he's so perfectly still, it's hard to tell. Okay, we just heard you. So why don't you go ahead and speak up, tell us who you are and who you're here for. You just muted yourself. Okay, you're muted again, and I don't know, Mr. Said, if you could even hear us, but you might be frozen and you just muted yourself again. So what I'm going to suggest is that you call in to the hearing. I'll give you a phone number right now. Hopefully you can take that down. This is included in the email with the Zoom information. You can dial 719-359-4580. Your your audio is cutting in and out, so we really
I don't
can't.
know what happened.
Okay, are you there? Okay, let's see. He might be trying to
I get out and come back again. Can you hear me?
Yeah, actually, we can hear you. Maybe you should stay now that we can hear you. Go ahead and state your name and spell it for us and tell us who you're here for.
Okay, my name is Jamal Said, and I represent, I'm the owner of Denver Airport Transportation, and I represent my company.
Okay, great. Okay, so it looks like we still don't have anybody from 519 LLC doing business as Fresh Tracks. We don't have anybody still from ULLR Tours doing business as Colorado Sightseer. We don't have anybody from as on behalf of Tava Cab LLC. So that's three parties, and it's about, just for the record, 11:20 a.m. and they still have not appeared. We were set to start at 11. So let's go ahead and move our hearing forward. I will say that I ordered ULLR Tours doing business as Colorado Sightseer to file their letter of authority before I would rule on their intervention. And they did file a letter of authority, which frankly, I think does establish they've properly intervened of right. However, they've not appeared here for this hearing today. And my decision did warn that failing to appear may result in dismissal of interventions. And that is what I'm inclined to do for ULLR Tours and the other two interveners who have not appeared here today. And so unless something changes and they join us, that is what I will plan to do. And then I'd like to turn to Pikes Peak Cab LLC, doing business as Pikes Peak Transport, who I'll refer to as Pikes Peak Transport. I did order Pikes Peak Transport to make a filing, basically clarifying who it wishes to have represented in this case. And no such filing was made, but we do have somebody here on behalf of Pikes Peak Transport. So I want to give you, Mr. Grego, an opportunity to address the issues that were supposed to have been addressed in that written filing. And so that is who the company wants it to be represented in this case. And I need some information to establish that the person identified has the authority to represent Pikes Peak Transport in this case.
Yeah, Zvankovich does the filing for Pikes Peak Cab. I do the representation for all the interventions. I did represent Pikes Peak Cab, I believe it was on Tuesday, with a previous intervention, but I thought she had filed that. Apparently not.
What's your role with the company?
I'm part owner of Pikes Peak Cab.
Okay. And that's really what I was looking to get out of you, to figure out that you do have authority to represent the company. And so I will find that you have authority, and the order that comes out of this hearing today will make that finding and will approve you representing your company in this hearing, in this case, moving forward. Okay, so now that we have those preliminary matters addressed, let us move on to, I just want to let Ski Town Transportation know that I did receive the motion to set aside and reconsider, and I am looking at that very carefully. I plan to issue, I don't have a decision I can tell you right now, but I will issue one within the next week. I think it's reasonable at this point for you to participate at least in the scheduling. That way, if I do end up changing that decision and allowing you in, that you're able to make the hearing and participate, we don't have problems. So we'll move forward in that manner as of right now. The first thing that we need to do is schedule a hearing. And I think in my decision, I said we needed to have it by like about August 19th, but I went back and I looked at timelines and statutory deadlines. And I think we've got a little bit more time than that. If we need it, we could schedule the hearing as late as September, I think 17th. Just double check that. Yes. So we could go as late as September 17th if necessary. But the first thing I want to hear from the parties on, starting with the applicant, Good Mountain, is the manner in which you'd prefer for the hearing to be held, whether that should be in person with everybody and witnesses showing up in person, fully remotely, where everybody appears remotely like we are today, despite these difficulties, or a hybrid, which would allow some parties and witnesses to appear in person and some to appear remotely. So let me hear from Good Mountain on that. Mr. Good, if you could unmute yourself.
Hi. Yes. So I'm open to, either a fully remote or a hybrid model, if that works.
Okay. But you're not as so hybrid would, so at least one party would need to appear in person for a hybrid hearing. Okay. So you're open to either fully remote or hybrid.
Well, I would prefer a fully remote if possible.
Okay. You know what? I just also realized, I'm not sure I noted this for the record, that it does not appear that we have anybody on behalf of Colorado Jeep and Off-Road Tours, Inc. And so when I issue a decision dismissing interveners who have not appeared, that would include Colorado Jeep and Off-Road Tours, Inc. I just want to make that clear in the record because I'm not sure I identified them. So let's see. Let me hear from iLimo on whether the manner in which the hearing should be held.
iLimo's fine with the a fully remote hearing.
Thank you. Let me hear from Aspire.
Yes, I am good with a fully remote hearing.
Okay. Let me hear from Mountain Star.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm okay with fully remote, but should we just check with the applicant just to see how many witnesses he gonna bring? If he gonna bring 10-15 witnesses with so many interveners, it may be a little hard on fully remote. So having all these people in the same, but I'm definitely okay with the fully remote, and I would prefer fully remote.
Okay, and I'll say that actually fully remote makes it easier when you have a lot of witnesses, so that they don't have
just want to make sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, I will say I've done a ton of these fully remote hearings, and the more witnesses you have, actually, the easier it is for them to be fully remote because they don't have to sit around in a hearing room on call all day. So I don't really think that makes a difference how many witnesses are going to appear in terms of it being remote or not. But thank you for bringing that up. And I will go over this issue of how much time we need based on the number of witnesses. I think, I don't know if my assistant needs to chime in on something.
Yeah, I was just going to let you know someone has joined by phone. I'm not sure who it is, but in case it was one of the interveners who was missing, I wanted to let you know in case you didn't notice that someone had just joined us.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I did not see that. So we do have somebody who's joined us by phone. Hopefully you can hear us. If you could unmute yourself and let us know who you are and who you're here for.
Yeah, hi, this is Rich with the Colorado sites here.
Okay, well, I'm glad you joined us. Your intervention was going to be getting dismissed.
Yeah, my apologies for lateness.
And this is Richard, is your last name Grover?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Is that spelled Grover? I'm just doing that for our court reporter.
That's correct as well.
Okay. All right. Well, while I've got you and you're unmuted, I was asking the parties their preference on whether the hearing should be held in person, fully remote, or hybrid. And thus far, the preference has been for a fully remote hearing. And what is your position on that?
That's fine with me. That's what everybody's interested in.
Okay. All right. And from Pikes Peak Transport.
Yes, remote sounds good.
Okay, thank you. And from Denver's Airport Transportation LLC.
Fully remote will be fine with us.
Okay, thank you. And for Ski Town?
Well, we would like an in-person hearing. I'm old-fashioned that way, and I had a lot of, well, I didn't have that much trouble getting into this case. I got in 4 or 5 different ways, but I think the old-fashioned way of coming into the PUC's hearing room and putting the people on the stand, I get a lot of eye contact, and I think that makes a big difference for my client, and so I would request an in-person hearing.
Okay, well, at this point, your client is not a party, and so I have to take that into consideration in deciding this, not to mention that everybody else has requested a fully remote hearing. So at this point, I'm not inclined to do that. And we're going to go ahead and hold this as a fully remote hearing. I understand the preference. I will say, I think once you've done a couple or even just one, you realize that it doesn't make that much of a difference at the end of the day. But I do hear what you're saying.
Well,
so now that we have that decided, let's look at some hearing dates. But before we can pick hearing dates, I need to get a sense for how many days we might need for hearing. We do have a lot of interveners. I do not know, the number of witnesses that the applicant in this case is planning on calling. So let me just start with the applicant. Do you have a sense for how much time you might need for hearing? Do we need more than 1 day?
For my portion of it, I wouldn't assume we would need more than 1 day for however many witnesses that I'm bringing.
Okay, thank you. And then as to the rest of the parties, if any of you think we need more than 1 day, go ahead and unmute yourself and speak up. And if you don't, I will take that to mean you think we can get this hearing done in 1 day.
Your Honor, I wonder whether or not just the presentation of interveners cases, with there being so many, that we might have to do a second day. And I think it would be out of an abundance of caution, it might be good to schedule a second day, first day for applicant, and start with interveners and then finish off on the second day. That way, maybe we don't need the second day, but at least if we do, we don't have to reschedule it down the road. And I know you had some issues with timing, so I think perhaps it would be better to do 2 days at this point in time, just out of abundance of caution.
Okay, I'm fine with reserving 2 days for the hearing just to be safe. I will say to all interveners that you have to be fully prepared to present your case on day 1 of the hearing. Do not assume that we finish it, early on day 1, that you don't have to present your case until day 2. If we finish early, if the applicant finishes its case, interveners will have to put on their evidence that same day if they choose to. We're not going to defer to the second day. But I will set 2 days so that we ensure that we have abundant and ample time for everybody to present their cases. So I'm looking at a time frame, I want to just hear from applicant on, you know, what time frame you would like to have the hearing held. I said we could hold it as late as September 17th, and you'd also understand that once we pick the hearing date, from there, we're going to back up other deadlines that have to be met where parties have to disclose what their evidence is going to be in this case. And so we always have to build in enough time for the parties to prepare their evidence and their witnesses, which is why these are not set like immediately. So Mr. Good, what are you looking at in terms of when you'd like the hearing to be held?
I understand that setting the date farther back will delay it, and I do want to, you know, respect everyone's time, but I would appreciate a date set in September, either September 9th or beyond.
Okay, let me just consult the commission's calendar right now, and then I can give you all some dates. So we'll just see, hopefully people will be available. So I've got September 9th and 10th available. Do those dates work for you, Mr. Good?
Yes, the 9th and the 10th of September work for me.
Okay, so as to the rest of the interveners, what I'm going to ask is that you unmute and speak up if September 9th and 10th do not work for you. If you do not speak up, I will assume that those dates are good for you.
I have a problem with September the 10th. I have a hearing in San Francisco on an immigration matter that week, and I can do the 9th, but I couldn't do the 10th. Could we do perhaps the 6th and the 9th?
Yeah, we do have the 6th open. Mr. Good, would you be available? I know that you said September 9th. So this would be the Friday before would be day one. Mr. Good, would that be okay?
Yes, if everybody else can do the 6th and the 9th, I can do that as well.
Okay, great. So again, if either of these dates, the 6th or the 9th, do not work for you, I'm going to ask you for the rest of the parties to just unmute yourself and let me know. If you do not, I will take your silence to mean that the 6th and the 9th of September work for you.
9 will work for us.
Mr. Saeed, am I pronouncing your name right? Is it Saeed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So did you say that the September 6th and 9th works for you?
Yes.
Okay. All right, great.
Yes, indeed.
I heard a yes. I will note that.
Yes, it will work.
Okay, great. So all we have to do from here is
That's correct.
I'm going to establish 2 more deadlines. One will be for everybody to simultaneously file all of your exhibits, an exhibit list and a witness list. And then I will establish a second deadline by which anybody who wants to amend their exhibits or witness lists can do so. And the reason I do that is because I think it gives everybody an opportunity to see what the evidence is that the other side may be presenting, and then to add anything more based upon that you think you need to. And so if you file an amended exhibit list or an amended witness list, that will replace the original one, the first one that's filed. So those are 2 different deadlines I'm established based upon the hearing date. Just give me a moment. I want to look at the calendar. Okay, so initial witness and exhibit lists will be due on August 2nd. And then the deadline to amend those will be August 19th. Yeah, that should allow ample time for everybody to review everybody else's evidence and to supplement that evidence, and then to be prepared in time for our first day of hearing, which is August 6th. In the decision that I issue, I'm going to establish procedures that we're going to be following for the evidence, because everything is going to have to be presented electronically since we're doing the hearing remotely. So I'm going to establish some procedures to try to facilitate that. We'll also allow for anybody that wishes to do a test session with Zoom for the hearing. If you think you need that, there should be enough time to be able to do that between now and then. And I will have information in either the decision or the attachment to the decision, so that you can contact the folks here at the commission that can assist with any technical questions and issues related to the electronic presentation of evidence for our hearing. I can also set a deadline today for written statements of position. Those are basically your closing arguments, summarizing what you think the evidence has shown in the case and what outcome you're looking to see in the case. I'm not going to require people to file statements of position, but I guess I'll go ahead and set the deadline. That way, anybody who wants to file a statement of position will do so in a timely manner so that I can actually review it before I need to issue my decision. So let me set that deadline right now. Okay, that deadline will be September 23rd. I'm also going to set a deadline for any pre-hearing motions. Those aren't typical in these kinds of cases, but since we do have so many parties in this case, it seems like it might be a good idea to set such a deadline. That way, if a motion is filed and it impacts our hearing, we've got enough time to deal with it before the hearing. That deadline is going to be August 26th. Okay, that covers the items that I had down that I needed to address today, but I do want to give everybody an opportunity to let me know if you think there's anything else that we need to take care of before we recess today.
Yes, Your Honor, if I may. I do not represent Tava Cab. However, I want to let the court know that she did contact me, and I think she was having some difficulties with the various procedures, and so I'm not so sure that her failure to be here today was voluntary. She may be having problems with a communication or whatnot. So I would just point that out to you, that she did contact me and was asking me questions about how to do things. And she said she had a lot of problems trying to figure everything out. So it may
I do have to I don't know if I should interrupt, but she got on the other day for a hearing with no problem. So I'm not sure. Yes, she did. She had a hearing with a link on Monday.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'm not sure there's anything that there for me to do with that information, Mr. Barra. I'm gonna just proceed as planned, and if something is filed at a later date, then we'll just deal with it at that time. I think notice was provided, and even though we had some technical issues today, we did get everything sorted, and everybody who's at least attempted to appear has been able to. So. All right, so I don't think we've got anything else left to address unless anybody else wants to raise anything. Okay. All right, so I will be I'll be writing everything up that happened here today. It'll most likely be in a decision that'll go out sometime next week, but you can certainly mark your calendars for those hearing dates that I've given you and the other deadlines that we have established here today. All right, with that, thank you all for your patience, and we will be adjourned.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, Your Honor.